I've got a 2011 Nissan Altima with a 2.5 liter engine. It's got 140,000 kilometers and that's around 90,000 miles. The problem is that when I'm stopped and I hit the accelerator, the vehicle hesitates, almost like it wants to stall, and then it quickly takes off. You can imagine what a problem this is when I'm at an intersection wanting to turn left and I have oncoming traffic approaching me. So, hesitation is caused by a number of things. Could be fuel-air mixture, fuel supply, spark, seals, hoses, what else? Sensors, sensor plugs, computer, and all the connection between them. But I'm going to tackle the three most likely problems with a vehicle like this with this many kilometers. Here we go. So the most likely causes of hesitation in this car is the air filter, which I've already replaced and had no luck. It still hesitates. The mass airflow sensor, which is here, I will pull that out and clean it. And the throttle body. The throttle body lives back here. I will clean that as well. I'm going to disconnect the battery, not for safety reasons. You don't need to do that. I do it because it will reset the computer. The car's computer will make adjustments for this. So once I address them, I want the computer reset on these problems. So I'm going to start by taking off the negative post of the battery using a 10mm wrench. That comes off. Good to go. Now I will take off the air filter. You can see I've got a new one in there. So I'll put this down. And now this comes off. This piece here is held together by a bolt down here. I'm just going to bring the camera around and show you the bolt that I'm going to try to take off in the back. That's the one bolt there holding this whole thing on. I'm using a 10mm deep socket. Now, I've had this thing off before, so it's easy to come off now. What you want to do here is make sure you don't drop this bolt, because it'll end up on somewhere on the frame. Unless you have a little magnet, it'll be very difficult to get off. So, gotta get your finger on it as not to lose it, like that. At this point, I'll also take off this shroud. Same 10mm deep socket. And again, I've had this off before, so it's just a little easier to come off this time. There it is. Now I'm going to take this piece off. Loosen that up. That has a clamp, but doesn't seem to be holding very well. Who knows, maybe that's another problem. And this comes off. And here's a throttle body. Let's work on this. And move the camera around. Okay, now there are 4 bolts, 1, 2, 3, and 4, one behind here, and there's also a sensor right here. So I'm going to pull off the sensor, just press the back tab and pull off. And an 8mm deep socket. And take off these 4 bolts. There it is. And there most likely is our problem right here. See all the gook? That's got to come off. All that needs to come off. You can get some of it from this side here. You can see it there. It's all around there as well. But most likely this is the problem. I'm going to clean that off with this sensor clean. I'm going to use this to clean the mass airflow sensor as well. So that's done by using a toothbrush, an old toothbrush, and trying to get in there, here and here. You can see it's a little difficult. So I'm going to do a little trick here. I'm going to heat up this old toothbrush, heat up the plastic, and just try to bend it once the plastic is nice and warm. To that position right there. All right, cool it off. Now I'll just spray. Spray it here as well. That. Try to get the gap in between there. Because that's where the buildup is. So I'm trying to get the edge of this flapper on both sides. I'm trying to get the surface here, and I'm trying to get the pivot point as well. Try to clean it as best as you can. You don't want to get back in here again. You want to do this just one time only, and that's it. But it looks much better, as you can see. It's done on this side. Hope you can see that. And on that side. Okay, so now I'm going to put it back. Look at this. I'm going to give this a squirt as well. That will evaporate. Be careful because there's a gasket here, a rubber gasket. It's got to go back on nicely. Here is the sensor, right there. And let's put it back together. So I'm going to put this sensor on first. When you're screwing these things down, don't tighten up just one side and then the other. Try to get them all down to a certain pressure. And once they're all snug and it's sitting flat on the gasket, then you can tighten it up. There we go. Give it some nice pressure, even pressure on each side. Okay, so that's that. Throttle body is done. I'm going to put this guy back. That's it. So it's just the one screw, and these things fall into the little gaps. It's difficult to do, but not impossible. Okay, there it goes. All right. So I'm going to kind of put my finger on this. So that's in nicely. So now it's time for this mass airflow sensor. Let's unplug it by pushing this in. It comes out. There it is there. That needs to be cleaned with the same solution. Okay. Back in it goes. Plug it back in. Okay, there it is. And now the filter goes back on. Just making sure everything is okay, everything is nice and tight. Locked on, that I'm gonna have to tighten up. So these two go inside these holes and then clips on. At the same time, this has to go on, which is a real pain. But there it is. What I'm looking for is a nice seal right across there, a uniform seal. Okay, so we've got the air filter replaced, the mass airflow sensor cleaned, and the throttle body cleaned. I'm going to tighten this guy back up here. Make sure all the hoses, anything you've taken off, is back where it was. If you're not sure, sometimes just take a picture of it in case something doesn't look right. That's on. This hose. All right, there it is. Clip is on. That's on. Seems pretty good. I mean, if this was loose, that would cause a real problem too, but it seems good. Everything is on, everything is good. All right, put the shroud back on and the battery. Make sure it's not cross-threaded, which is not. Now it doesn't really need to be tight, too tight, but I do want to snug it up. 10 millimeter. The last part of the puzzle now is putting back that ground. You'll find with some cars, once you disconnect the battery and put it back on, the car alarm will start to go off, but in this case it doesn't. One of the most dangerous things to do with a battery is to fool around with the positive. If I were to touch that and touch any part of the car that is ground, the spark will scare the daylights out of you. Let's just say that. Time to take it for a drive. All right, let's see if this worked. Okay, it looks pretty good. It's idling nicely, and there's no check engine light, which is good. If there was a check engine light, it's probably because one of the sensors were not plugged in, either the mass airflow sensor or the one by the throttle body. But seems pretty good. It's idling nicely. Let's take it for a test drive. Okay, here we go. Accelerated nicely there. Let's try that again. I'm gonna come to a stop. All right, no hesitation. That was pretty good. I'm at a stop sign. Let's do it one more time. This time I'm gonna really give this 4-cylinder a run for its money. Good enough for a four banger. Anyways, that was good. There's no hesitation. I think the problem, yep, the problem is solved. This took me 40 minutes to complete, and thank goodness it wasn't anything more serious. Throttle body cleaning and mass airflow sensor cleaning are common maintenance procedures on a vehicle like this with this many kilometers. Hope that was informative. Hope you enjoyed that, and we'll see you next time.